Good.
How are you?
I'm great. I'm great.
How's camp been so far?
It's been really good. It's been a great schedule. We got in a few days earlier, so a little bit of love on the back end. It's been great. Getting home, be able to see the kids before they go to bed has been awesome. The team dynamic is amazing. Guys are competing out there, getting after it. So it's been a really good camp so far.
How have you felt about the rotation? Zion getting some work at center, you getting back to left guard where you played, in 2019 and 2020. Just how have you felt about?
Yeah, I knew that from the jump that that's what we're going to be doing. I knew we'd be kind of rotating and playing some different positions and stuff. So wherever I can compete and be a part of this team and help this team out any way I can, I'm here for it. So enjoyed it. Love working with Zion. Zion's an amazing competitor. He brings it every single day. So it's just been fun being able to kind of work some center and guard talk between me and him and kind of swapping back and forth.
So when you re-signed and agreed to come back here, that was already an understanding that you were going to be working at both center and left guard, and Zion was going to get some time at center.
Yeah, I knew I was competing to start. I knew that was kind of coming in, that we're going to be competing. And I've always been a competitor, never back down from a challenge. So, I love the honesty and upfrontness of this front office and everyone else in this organization. So, we're here to compete. I think everyone's kind of on the same boat. If you're not getting the job done, it's next up. So, just rock and roll and have the best battle.
You played guard a couple years ago. How much did you have to kind of tap back into that? Because you've obviously played center more in the last couple of years.
Yeah, I've mixed in a little bit of guard through the last couple of training camps, different stuff, but nothing like long term. Definitely went back and watched some old film and just kind of picking up some old tips for myself. So, but no, just it kind of like riding a bike. You just kind of figure it out. You might wobble a few times, but you eventually get it.
What about Zion's skill set do you think lends to playing center as a guy who's played left guard and center in the league?
He's athletic. He's smart. He can move well. He dives into the playbook. He does everything the right way. You can look at the guy and tell the guy takes care of his body. He's a gifted freak. Like he's just an awesome competitor and someone that I'm pleasured to have next to me, whether it's at guard or center. He's a great addition to this team and has always done such a great job for us.
Is it easier to move guard to center, center to guard?
I think they both have their challenges, but either way, it's both pretty much
There's little nuance.
there's definitely different techniques and little nuances to it, but I think they're just like kind of their own position.
What do you think adding this versatility to both your repertoires kind of will help the interior offensive line?
In the old words of Joe DeAlessandro, so he's my coach over in Baltimore, my offensive line coach, passed away a couple years ago. You got to cross train. You got to cross train, and it helps the team. You never know what's going to happen out there. A shoe comes off, a leg, something up to your leg, something up to your foot, whatever it may be. You have that guy that can step in and be able to play that position is a huge asset. So.
Bradley Becker. I know this is the early part of camp, but when you do have to go up against Leo Mack, a bunch of good edge rushers, does that only make you better as an offensive line group? Is it kind of like an iron sharpens iron mindset?
Absolutely. Those guys are some of the best pass rushers in the league. We're lucky to have a handful of them. So it's great. You have to really sit down and be patient on those guys. But at the same time, you got to sit with power because they have the power as well to hit you with it. So no, it's a great iron sharpens iron mentality.
How much did you work with Zion just on him being mobile as a center, right? Like to make calls, check. He hadn't had to do that before. Have you talked at all with him about how to do it once he's out there?
Yeah, we've talked about it for sure. It's just if something bad happens, you just got to move on. Like you can't sit there and sit in your think tank that oh no, I messed up last play. It's like next play depends on you. You're the central control center. You're the one who gets everyone going on the right page. So who cares what happened last play? Just move on. Let's get this next play going right.
Zion talked about the added responsibility of playing center and having to understand the playbook to such a deep level and understand what's going on around it, not just on the offensive line, but the offense as a whole. That added responsibility when you do move from guard to center, what can it do for a player who has a skill set like Zion, the intellect, obviously all the physical tools, that added responsibility, what do you think it can do for him as a player?
Once you really get it figured out and you get everything nailed down, it really slows the game down for you. You get out there, you're reading defenses, you're reading coverages, whatever it may be, and the full inside out of the scheme. Not not just worried about the left side or not just worried about the right side, but you have the whole scope of everything. And it really does slow the game down for you.
How critical continuity is for an O-line? Sometimes, we want results quick, but the fact that you guys, it's your second year, you guys know more each other. I know we have a guy this year, but the vast majority of the O-line, you guys know each other.
Yeah, for sure. We still have that same five that we had coming in last year. We've added some more pieces as well. But it's for an offensive line, it's reps. It's just getting reps together. We break it down every day on fist. 5 is 1. So we just continue to work those reps, work those double teams, kind of figure out how each other works, and kind of play off of each other. So yeah, the continuity is huge.
A player like McCobb, bringing him in, what can he do to elevate the play of the entire group?
He's a massive human being to start with. But no, he's really in tune to the game. He understands the concepts. He understands the movement aspect of the game, and to be able to just move guys off the ball. I mean, this guy is so powerful. He's a huge human being. I mean, I'm used to being kind of one of the bigger guys on the field. You turn on the field now, I look like a shrimp. So, being next to him, Joe, it's just it's great to have that massive human that can just move people in the way that he does.
What is his personality and product to
He fit in from day one. Just right away. Great personality, great sense of humor. We hit it off from the jump. So I mean, he's been such a great spark for our room too.
What stood out to you about Joe coming back year 2 versus when he was first year last year?
The experience. I mean, just Joe, with his experience and the next levelness of his training and everything else. I mean, he's just prepared all off season. He's coming in from the day 1 of camp. He's playing low to high. He's finishing on blocks. He's doing everything that he needs to do, and just continue the upward trajectory for himself. Really the sky's the limit for Joe. I mean, he's got all the assets. He's got the right mindset. He's got everything you want in your right tackle. So.
And just with Zion, obviously to this point in camp hasn't been at center with pads on. How big of a step do you think that's going to be when he does get in there in pads and has to face something closer to what he's going to face in game action?
Yeah, you go in there, you figure it out. You have to go in. You have to, at some point we just got to go in and figure it out. I mean, I was at that point one time in my career, so he's going to figure it out. He's going to do great. We've been learning from our mistakes since we started in the camp. You just continue to build on those and just don't make the same mistake twice.